Back at the Santa Monica Pier in beautiful Southern California for the Arnold Strongman USA competition. We are through 2 events, getting set for event number 3. It is the last man standing deadlift firefighter competition going on among some local firefighters from Santa Monica. Being joined right now by a man who has won the Arnold Strongman Classic 3 times. He is Brian Shaw. He has already qualified for the 2019 Arnold Classic. How are you feeling now as you get set for that event?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good actually right now. I mean, it's always kind of a fine line of making sure you're healthy, making sure the training's on point, and making sure that the end goal is peaking at the Arnold at the first weekend of March, really.
With such a limited time now to get ready for that event, what do you focus on with your training?
Well, I mean, basically I'll start to back off a little bit of the gym stuff and start to do more of the actual events. So that'll take the priority kind of here for the last 6 weeks.
You finished second last year to Half Thor. He is here today. Yep. Obviously, he has a big target on his back for you. What are you going to have to do in order to beat him in Columbus?
Well, he's going to, I mean, in all honesty, he's going to have some great events this year with the events they've chosen. And he'll be tough to beat. I mean, we're going to be in a battle again. It's going to be head-to-head, you know, so it's not, the key is really not dropping any points and making sure that I come in ready to fight. Yeah.
You didn't get the highest mark, but I gotta say, I want
also, Brian, I know that you're competing against all the other strongmen, but also at some level you're competing against history. 4-time TWI World's Strongest Man, 3-time Arnold champion, too many world records in open competitions to count. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, you're exactly right. It's legacy, and you know what I have established over, you know, gosh, more than a decade now of doing the Arnold and competing a World's Strongest Man, and you know, it's important. It's important to leave that track record, you know, and to chalk up those wins. I mean, it's something where, you know, I don't necessarily feel like I have anything left to prove, but I still have goals, right? So I still want to accomplish things, and my competitiveness has not left at all. I mean, I only lost the Arnold last year by a very small margin. It's a couple points here or there. If I would have lifted my last deadlift last year, I would have won the contest. It was that close. So it's kind of picking apart what can I do better. How can I come in better this year? And that's what goes through my head in training and in preparation.
Well, not a lot of weaknesses in your performances, so it just comes down to what you can actually improve on, and then it turns into that continued competitive fire.
Yeah, that's it. If you have that competitive fire, for me, I'm constantly thinking about it, how I can get better, what I can do better. I mean, there was, like I said, a couple events. I was disappointed in my deadlift last year and disappointed really with the stone to shoulder event. I really lost a lot of points on that one. So, you know, it's cleaning those things up, making sure that I'm ready to perform, and it's going to be fun. It really is going to be fun.
You mentioned the deadlift. That's the event that is up next year. It will be a little bit different of a format than we saw in Columbus, Ohio. This is a last man standing format. They're going to start at 700 pounds, and each competitor needs to lift every weight. They will increase in alternating increments of 50 pounds and then 40 pounds. So where you had a lot of strategy that came into play in Columbus, here it's all about you just got to go out and grip it and rip it.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to call the weights. They're going to, you know, it's just a rising bar, so you've just got to get the lift done and move on to the next round.
From a mental standpoint, if you're an athlete competing in this, how does that differ from what you guys did in Columbus with that strategy involved?
Yeah, it's drastically different, you know, because in Columbus you're calling your own weight, so you're looking at what the next guy might pull, of what he's potentially written down for the next lift, so you've got to stay ahead of that, and there's a lot of moving parts to that, whereas this, you don't have to necessarily think as much. It's just go out and lift a weight and move on to the next round and try to get through every lift as efficiently and easily as you can.
Brian Clark will be up first. Here are your standings after 2 events. Mateusz Kieliszkowski is your leader over 4 points over Martin Visas, who has already qualified. If Kieliszkowski hangs on to win this, he, Jerry Pritchett, and Maciej Belshak will all advance to the Arnold Classic in Columbus in March. Brian Clark is a guy who is up first with just 1 point in the overall standings. He needs to basically sweep these final 3 events. He has got to win this competition in order to get himself to the Arnold Classic for the first time in his career.
this is an event that tests the body's total strength. A lot of people say body power, but this isn't how fast you lift it, it's just getting it up. So this is a total body strength lift. And typically, a couple of points aside, it's really who's the strongest deadlifter.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that you know, with strongman, you're not judged on how you actually lift the weight. It's just finishing the lift. So, you know, as opposed to powerlifting, you get 3 white lights. This is simply just a down call, so you have to get it from point A to point B as easily as you can, and it doesn't need to be pretty. It just needs to get done.
Well, another beautiful part about this is that the judge really doesn't participate in strongman. It's just to have the put down signal.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you're not looking at lights, and it really is just lift the weight, get the down call, and move on.
Brian Clark up first, the starting weight, 700 pounds.
It's the last man standing, so these early weights.
So they're allowed to use straps.
They just want to get through without wasting too much energy.
And this bar is much different than what we saw at the Arnold Classic last year with that elephant bar.
Yes, there's not a lot of give in this bar. It's a raw steel bar, has a deep knurling.
Position. He's got his straps on. Wow. Easy.
So no problem for Brian Clark as he is through 700 pounds. Remember, each athlete will lift this weight. As soon as you fail, you are done.
Jerry Pritchett, it's his turn.
That looked pretty easy. We're just starting out, really kind of a warm-up for most of these athletes. So if you've got a little bit of give in the middle of the bar, that allows for the weights, the plates on the end to actually start to give you a little bit of momentum to bring it up. This bar is pretty stiff. It's 6 inches longer than a normal bar, but that's about it.
Jerry Pritchett up next, 700 pounds on the bar. This is a man you've competed against quite a bit.
Yeah, Jerry's very much known for his deadlift ability, so I'm sure that he's going to be looking to try to win this event.
He'll definitely need the points.
Get some energy.
And Pritchett makes that look light, and he is through.
Yeah, with the setup like this, you know, the warm-up equipment in the back, a lot of people don't realize that the warm-up equipment in the back can be drastically different to coming on stage here. So a lot of these guys, their first lift, they're coming up, they're getting a feel of the platform, obviously getting a feel of the bar, and trying to gain that confidence with that first lift. Get that one done, you kind of let out that sigh of relief, and then you get dialed in for the next lifts.
So we saw Yitze pull off his kick off his shoes. He's in sock feet. That's to decrease the distance he has to pull the bar, and as a tall man, that's important.
700 pounds for Kramer.
725.
Very easily done. Brian, just commenting about how deadlift is different with straps a little bit with strongman. The approach is to put your feet out a little bit wider and also to have a little bit wider grip typically.
Yeah,
start with your hips as opposed to your back.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, the straps are certainly a game changer because effectively it takes the grip out and it allows everybody to pull with a double overhand placement, which means that you can set into the lift a little bit more, and like you said, then try your best. A lot of us are so strong through our hips and our legs that starting the bar off the floor in that position, it will really help a lot.
This is Martins. Good pull. I believe he pulled over 900 pounds last year at the Arnold on the elephant bar. So he made that 700 pounds look pretty easy.
Ronald Heinle up next, another man who has already locked up a spot in the Arnold Strongman Classic in Columbus this March.
Yeah, Ronald's a great deadlifter, actually. He pulled some very big weights, so I expect this to be pretty easy for him.
And no problem for Heinle, as this 700-pound barbell is proving to be an informal warm-up for most of these men.
Yes, I believe he placed third in the 2015 World Deadlift Championships. And you can see those hip flexors popping out through his shorts. I mean, that's a sign of a big puller.
Yeah, Ronald is a guy that, for whatever reason, some guys still underestimate him a little bit with these events, but I expect him to be right at the top with this deadlift competition.
Natchez Belshock up next.
He's using his straps. He's getting strapped up. there are different styles of straps. There's the figure 8 straps that have become popular for some. There's shorter straps, thinner straps, longer straps. It's really the preference of the strongman.
The further that distance is, the heavier the weight's going to feel to them. So you watch. They're dragging it straight up their legs.
Belshock is through.
So far, everyone's looked pretty good with 700 pounds.
Polish powerhouse, Mariusz Kaliszkowski.
So again, just the socks, just to decrease the how high you have to pull the bar up. If you can take a half inch or an inch from not having soles on your shoes, and actually be able to decrease the lit that you have to pull the bar, because that can be a big inch because you have to lock the bar out. The other one too is that personally, I know a lot of big deadlifters say that the less they have on their feet, they can feel their feet pushed down on the floor as opposed to try to stand up with the bar.
Yeah, with regard to the socks, I mean, it again is personal preference, and for me, there's Kaliszkowski. That's good. I know he's been working really hard on his deadlift, so I'm interested to see how he does with this contest today. But finishing up that thought of him.
Yeah, this looked really simple. I remember last year in Columbus, he came off the floor, I think, after failing a lift, and you were right there talking to him. What did you say to him at that point?
Mateus is he has big expectations for himself. He's very competitive. He's young, and he tends to get down on himself. He's really hard on himself. So it's more something for me as a veteran. I see how much potential he has. And, sometimes a pat on the back from somebody like me and just saying, hey, buddy, just keep your head up. It's coming, whatever. I really want him to come train with me in Colorado. I'm trying to get him out for that. It's crazy with our schedules, but, it's just a pat on the back. That's really all it was at that point, just saying keep your head up.
You can see that kid has tons of potential.
He's incredibly athletic. He's fast. He's strong. He's got all the tools, and it'll be exciting to see as he grows into his frame. It'll be really exciting.
765 pounds is now on the barbell, and Brian Clark is back up. This is his second lift. Still no problem for Brian Clark as he is through, and that'll give way to Jerry Pritchett.
I think Brian kind of used he let his shoulders drop a little bit, which is okay if you keep your lower back straight. And then you just have to stand and pull back some. Some really big deadlifters have used that style in the past.
Yeah. You can see here Jerry's got a flat shoe on. I'm the same way. I actually prefer pulling in a very, very thin shoe. Just always been a personal preference, and I could go in a lot more detail, but actually get more power out of it.
765 for Jerry Pritchett is no problem. He stays alive.
Wow.
So every man is still alive here in this last man standing event, the third of 5 events here.
And being 6'8", Brian, that's a long way to pull.
Yeah, it totally is. I mean, the height of some of these guys, getting down to a 9-inch deadlift bar is quite a challenge. It's definitely a lot lower for guys like us when we're taller. Seems like almost a deficit pull at times.
Absolutely. He's down. He's really talking to himself. He's getting himself going. There we go.
This is Jitz Kramer at 765.
765 for Kramer.
And that was easy.
Big pull. Very quick. That just shows that a lot of these guys are way off from getting up to their maximum lift. We're going to see a big deadlift today.
Yeah, that looked really, really comfortable for Kramer.
And a 6'5" athlete, that's quite a lift.
Yeah.
I do know that Lisi's up next.
I do know that there's a lot of discussion about how fast you can pull a lighter weight to develop power for a bigger deadlift.
Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes, you see guys. That looked really good for Martins there. Yeah, you see guys pull the lighter weights, and sometimes they're very, very fast. And then when they get to the bigger weights, they almost can't shift into that, for lack of a better term, like 4 low gear and really grind through a heavier weight. They almost have to pull it faster. They don't pull it. And, you know, other big deadlifters, they'll pull even the lighter weights a little bit slower, but they can just keep going. As the bar gets heavier, they pull it the same exact way.
Yes.
This guy, deadlift expert.
And all the guys are out there helping each other. Look at the hip musculature on Rauno. He's a terrific deadlifter. And, you know, the idea that, Brian, you would like to have Kaliskowski come train with you, an active competitor, and these guys are over on the side talking to each other. Strongmen really want each other to do their best. You only want to beat your competitor if he's at his best.
Absolutely. I mean, that's true for me. I can say 100%. I don't want anybody hurt or banged up. I want everybody to bring their top A game, and then we'll find out who the strongest is. And I really believe that if not all the guys, the majority of guys feel that exact same way.
Yes.
Here's Mateusz Belshak for his second lift, 765 pounds, still on the barbell.
He's going to roll it back in, keep it nice and close to his legs, and drag it on out. Get those hips down. Look at that.
Good lift for Belshak.
Belshak's been dealing with a little bit of a hip issue, and I was talking to him earlier about some of the training, and that's been affecting him a little bit with his training, and he's trying to figure out what's going on, and something like that can really hamper your training, especially when you're talking about big weights. So
Yes.
I know that that would probably be easier for him. So he's been battling through that, at least in training. So
I would imagine so.
Literally starting to get all cylinders working.
Kaliskowski up next.
This is
Your overall leader right now.
Yes, he's dominated the first 2 events, but to be able to have a solid showing in the deadlift would really lock him in towards the last 2 events.
Give some support, Kaliskowski at 765. Got it.
I think he pulled a little more smoothly. I think one thing he did, he put his heels together a little bit and pointed his toes out, kind of giving some quads off the bottom of the lift. Some guys do that.
yeah. There's a lot with a lot of people think the deadlift is just picking the bar up, you know, and standing up with it. And there's so much little detail in this lift. It's ridiculous. I mean, I know for me, I watch video weekly on myself, trying to analyze what I could do just a little bit different, you know, how my feet are, hips, knee placement, back, hip, you know, just across the board. So it's a very technical lift, especially when you get up to the bigger weights. There's not a lot of room for error.
Okay, so this is 815 pounds. And Brian Clark's up, starting the next round, the 3rd round, getting strapped up. He changed his pulling style a little bit. He let his shoulders go a little lax.
Absolutely. There's no math. They just know.
Looking down. He's going to stand up. Double clutching. Pulling back. Wow, great
That'll
lift.
count for Brian Clark as he stays alive, and he is pumped up.
He really, really wanted that lift. He really wanted to. Watch how he starts off. He gets it to his knees, and then he gets over the knees, and he keeps pulling back. He keeps pulling back, locks out.
And Brian, that's a perfect example of what you were saying earlier. It just has to get from point A to B. It doesn't have to be pretty. It just needs to get there.
That's it. He got the down call, and he chalked that up on the scoreboard, so good for him.
I'd like to know if that's a personal best.
Seemed like from his reaction it might have been. You know, that would be really cool if it was.
It was. So Jerry Pritchett, who's a scientist with the deadlift, he's got a lot of things to say about the deadlift. The powerlifting world record holder as well as the strongman world record holder in the past.
Jerry Pritchett just mauls that weight.
Very deliberate.
One thing I want to point out here, Matt, is that most of these
He's a little different. He just had a straight pull, no hitching, straight up, feet out. He kept a little bit more of a flat upper back when he started the lift. Okay, so Kramer had a great lift the last round. Came off the ground really, really smoothly and very efficiently. Got his groove. I guess, Brian, you know, The only way to learn how to lift a heavy weight is to lift a lot of heavy weights.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's easy, really easy with the lighter weights to keep really good form. But once you get up to a heavier bar weight, that's where you start to see your weaknesses and what you need to work on.
Wow,
very nice.
Kramer, no problem, as we have yet to have a man bow out here. All 8 competitors still alive here in this third of 5 events.
Man, Martins is like
deadlift.
raw meat. Martins is right on the bar. He's almost pushing the other guy out of the way. He is focused.
He's definitely ready to go. I know Martins has been working really hard on his deadlift too, so he's going to want to put up a big result here.
Absolutely.
Looking to get back to the Arnold Classic for the second time in his career. He's already qualified. He was there in 2017 when he finished 8th and at 815 pounds.
Wow.
At least he stays
Very
alive.
Nice. You know, these Rogue barbells are really well made. I got a chance to talk to Bill Henniger, the owner of Rogue. They work on tensile strength. They've given the athletes absolutely every chance to have the best result with these barbells that they put out.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's amazing, too. There's a lot that goes into a quality bar.
Yes.
And Rogue does it better than anybody.
They really do.
They're chomping at the bit to get on the platform.
Here's Ronald Heinle at 815 pounds. Easy day for Ronald Heinle.
Wow. That's a very efficient pull. If we can go back to that and just watch him come off the ground, he keeps that bar, his weight is distributed right over the center of his foot, and he gets it to his knee in a really smooth fashion. And then once it gets to his knees, it's lights out.
Yeah, he's got a lot of power left in the tank there.
Absolutely.
There's Matjas Belshak, who struggled a little bit on his last lift. We'll see what he has left in the tank here for 815 pounds.
He's trying to stay in this competition now in the third round. Everybody's looking really strong.
Leave a mark that can't shake off for the next event. Belshak. You can hear him get fired up. You know, part of dealing with pushing through an injury.
Belshak has himself set. Now 815 pounds for the man from Slovenia.
Oh, he's going to do a little barbell roll, it looks like. There he comes, there he comes. Oh.
Belshak will not get that one to go, so he will be the first man out here in the last man standing deadlift.
Yes. So I have to say that that's the first guy we've seen to have a rolling start on the deadlift. I know that a couple of other deadlifters like Benedict Magnuson rolls the bar. Yoko Hola used to roll the bar. So he really had, you see his face there. He was really trying to get that bar up. Right there, he just needed that next 3 inches to get it to his knees. And also, you notice how the other strongmen are, saying, hey, man, you did a great job today, giving him a pat on the back. So this is a very important lift for Mateusz Kaliskowski. He's dominated in the first 2 events, and this would separate him from some of the other athletes who haven't been able to lift this.
And 816 pounds was the most that he lifted at the Arnold Classic last year. This is just 1 pound less than that.
He is filling out on his frame every year, just getting measurably stronger and bigger.
There we go.
Kaliskowski nails the lift.
Very nice. That was a very smooth lift. I think he had a little more. He's got a little more in the tank, but he definitely had to put another gear on that. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, that was a really important lift for him in this contest because so many guys were successful there. He had to get on to the next round. We'll see what comes with the next weight. Like you said, I think he had to step it up a notch. But I think he's got a little bit more in the tank, so we'll see.
So 855 pounds now, so they've gone up by 40 pounds.
So I guarantee he's won the first 2 events. He's used this strategy. He's just.
So it's another piece of this. It's that what weaknesses do you have? You have to eliminate your weaknesses, Brian.
For me, I mean,
for all athletes that, in a competition with multiple events, you've got to eliminate your weaknesses and be consistent.
I mean, across the board, my rule of thumb for myself is I want to go to any contest and be able to place top 3 in any event, whether it's for max or reps or, you're lifting a log or a dumbbell. It doesn't matter, and that's. If you can do that in the sport of strongman, you're going to do pretty well. Easier said than done, though.
Yes. I remember Magnus for Magnus was a master at winning and not placing first, but maybe 1 or 2 bits.
Sure, because he's consistent across the board.
So Jerry Pritchett is up next as Brian Clark has decided not to make a run at this. So Clark at 8:15, that'll be his best lift. And now Pritchett moves on to 8:55 as the field starts to thin a little.
I think Jerry's getting stronger. That will look better than his last one. It's like he needs some weight on the bar to actually make him get into his gears. That looked kind of easy, actually. Wow. I'd have to compare his pull to probably yours, Brian, and maybe Andy Bolton.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jerry's definitely widened up his stance quite a bit, and I think it suits him really well, obviously. He's getting some great results. The one thing I will point out with this competition is that's already the 4th lift, and for some of the stronger deadlifters like Jerry, these aren't massive jumps in weight. So by the point we're over 900 pounds, you're talking 5 or 6 lifts. You know, that's a lot of deadlifts. They would, for some of the stronger guys, they would probably rather have bigger jumps and get up to the bigger weights sooner.
Jitz Kramer is up next. 8:55.
855 pounds. I'll have to say to this point, he's been the most explosive off the floor.
He really has. I haven't seen Kramer deadlift in a max deadlift event, so this will be interesting to see what he can pull.
And there's Martins again. That was a great lift, very explosive, very smooth lift out of Kramer. Great lift. Now Martins is up, and again he virtually pushes the other athlete out of the way. He's really going after it.
Martins Laces. 8:55.
Needs this lift. There we go.
Lises hits that.
Wow. He looks better than the last lift. That was a terrific pull. Very smooth. I think he's finding that spot. Brian, would you comment on that?
Yeah, I think that, like you said, this is a groove. I mean, when you get in your groove and you have a deadlift that gets a little bit out of line, it can look much worse. And then you add more weight, you hit your line right, and man, it feels great. So hopefully Martins just found that line, and the next weight will be the same way.
So again, look at that musculature in the hips. Those hip flexors just bulging out as Heinle gets down on the bar, straps up.
Really strong edge because they know they can.
Heinle finished first in the 2018 Arnold Classic Australia event, so he is on his way to Columbus, Ohio in March, and just rips that bar off the floor, no problem. So 8:55 looks light for Heinle.
Wow.
And that'll give way to Kilishkowski. And now we're in territory where he might start to struggle a little bit, but no problem for Heinle on this lift.
Very smooth, very efficient to the knees, and just gets that up. He's got a great groove. Pushing his feet down to the floor as opposed to trying to stand up with the bar. And I know that it's hard to see that, but if you're deadlifting, that's a feel that you get.
Absolutely. That looked really comfortable for Heinle. He's definitely got some weight left in the tank.
It's not 855. It's actually 860. We're going with the heavier bar than Olympic.
But you know why? Because this bar has to be 5 pounds heavier because it has to be as strong as
Kilishkowski getting ready to lift here. As he's your overall leader through the first 2 events. He won the fire truck pull and then the log press, just looking really impressive in event number 2. And a solid performance so far for him in the deadlift. He's going to make another run of this thing.
He's got time. He's got time. He's going to reset. Just breaks it off the floor.
Kilishkowski, who is the overall leader coming into this event, will bow out at 8:55.
Okay, folks, so you heard it. Brian Shaw is going to have him come and help him with this lift and his training. Here we go. He's pulling. You know, he gave everything he had, though, in that attempt.
Yeah, it's definitely not for a lack of effort, that's for sure. Kilishkowski is going to be down on himself, but, I mean, the exciting part with him is he's young, and the one lift that I will say takes a long time to build up is a deadlift. I mean, there's guys that it could take him 10 years to build up to a world-class deadlift strength. So he has nothing to be disappointed about. I mean, if he keeps moving up year by year, he's going to get to a crazy good spot. So,
Right.
you know, that's he's going to be disappointed with that just because I know him.
Yes.
But you know, his upside is big.
You need to have a short memory as a strongman and move on to the next event. He's got 2 events to go.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, absolutely. That's very, very true.
910 pounds on the barbell. 4 men remain on a gorgeous day in Santa Monica, California. A packed house here at the historic Santa Monica Pier as Jerry Pritchett will be up first as we have moved past the 900-pound mark.
Yeah, Jerry has actually deadlifted more than this weight in a powerlifting contest with no straps. So he's definitely got this in him. Now we're kind of getting to the big prey, the big pulls at the end of the competition.
That's it. Yeah, this is the 5th pull. We're over 900 pounds. This will be great.
That was very smooth, very smooth.
And when I look at Pritchett as someone who doesn't know as much about this as you guys, it's hard for me to tell that they've added weight on the bar. He looks the same through every single lift.
Yeah, that's very true. You know, kind of like what I said earlier with the bar speed. Jerry's the guy that'll pretty much pull the same pace, even with some of the lighter weights. So it is. You're exactly right. It's tough to tell kind of what gear he's in and how much he's got left, because he'll pull the same way until he fails almost.
So Kramer from Holland, terrific pull so far, very explosive. I think just with gas in the tank, I think he and Heinle have been very impressive. But again, Pritchett just knows his stuff. Lissitz is determined.
Kramer needs to basically win this event. He's got to win the entire competition to get into the Arnold Strongman Classic. And he's looking good so far in the last man standing deadlift, one of 4 athletes remaining.
910 pounds.
And that will count for Jens Kramer, 910.
Fantastic lift. He had to hitch it a little bit. Okay, here's a look at it. I'd say technically got a really good start. Kind of yanked on the bar a little bit. I think you probably want to be a little smoother. That might have actually put him out of position. Rocked his shoulders forward just that tiny bit.
Yeah.
Okay, here's Lissitz. Got to roll. Pulling.
Martins Lisis through 910 pounds as the big weights are really going up.
Really, really solid. He's approaching his the weight that he was able to pull last year at the Arnold Classic. Okay, now watch this. He's got his feet a little closer together. Does that dynamic, pulling the bar to himself. Some guys like that because they feel it livens the bar. And I think some of the other athletes might pump their hips a little bit, Brian, to give that same sensation.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really a lot of glute power bringing the hips through. So once you get past your knees, you really, really want to flex there and drive your hips hard. But you know, it's unique because some guys will come off the floor really strong, some guys will lock out really strong. Everybody's strong at a different point in a deadlift, so it's trying to not have any weaknesses as a team.
Yes.
910 for Ronald Heinle. And Ronald Heinle is through 910 pounds, and he will stay alive.
Yes, and he's got Arnold right in front of him. Very nice. Arnold can see the big lifts are coming. Over 900 pounds. Okay, very smooth and efficient. Right off the floor, gets it over his knees, even slings it down, making a statement. 950 pounds is next. Okay, you know, in 2011, Brian, at the 2011 at the TWA World's Strongest Man Finals, I believe Zydrunas Savickas actually set the world's record with like 965 or something.
Yeah, it was 970, I believe.
970.
Yeah.
So it wasn't in the rain.
No,
it was in the rain.
It wasn't in this beautiful weather. Yeah, that's for sure.
It was in the rain, not this beautiful weather in Santa Monica. But honestly, this just shows where we are.
Yeah, this is I mean, you're talking.
In less than 10 years, we've evolved to where this is just a standard weight.
This is, I mean, it's world class. These guys, four guys lifting 910 on to 950. I mean, this is these people are getting a show for sure.
Absolutely. This is the next step towards 1,000 pounds at 950 pounds. Deadlift specialist. Jerry Pritchett. Let's just watch and see what kind of style he has on this one. If it looks like the other one's the same speed, and if I were a competitor, I'd be concerned if he just pulls it the same way. That means there's gas in the tank.
You would absolutely think that for sure.
950 for Jerry Pritchett.
Okay, that actually looked a little faster. He's getting a little serious. Very confident. Look, built that pressure in his feet, gets it up to his knees, and just stands up with it. That man knows how to deadlift.
Yeah, that was a very, very solid lift from Jerry. That was awesome.
Very good lift. So this is kind of a scouting trip for you a little bit too, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, we're six weeks out from the Arnold in Ohio, and, I'm going to be competing against a number of these guys there. So you could say that. I mean, I'm kind of always scouting.
But you're also talking about helping one of your competitors, Kalos Koski, to get that deadlift going.
Yeah, I had JF Carone, who unfortunately had to pull out of the contest. I would have possibly picked him to win this deadlift event today.
Because he pulled 1,000 pounds with you in training.
He did. Yeah, we got together last year, and that was incredible.
Yeah.
So I really personally like training with the guys. I love bringing them into my gym, and, just the energy. You have
So
two guys that strong is it's something special.
Yes, Lissus is up with the next weight. So Kramer looks like he dropped out. He had a lot of struggle with the last weight. So Martins is up,
and that'll leave just three men: Lissus, Pritchett, and Ronald Heinle.
950 pounds. This is a big, big lift, and I'm certain this is it's a personal best for Martins as well. Martins has done a lot of great things in strongman so far, but this will be a new mark for him in deadlift. Notice how the guys are slowing it down a little bit. They're stalking.
He's not attacking the bar. He's got to get his energy right. He's got to get in the zone. You can see him amping up. Everybody kind of has that routine to get into that amped up spot to lift these kind of weights. So Martins, you can tell this is a big weight for him because of the way he's getting amped up instead of just going up to the bar like he did before.
Right. You want to drop all the inhibition that you have and put yourself in overdrive.
That's right.
950 pounds for Lissus. Looking to stay alive and possibly win the event.
He's giving everything he's got.
And cannot get it past his knees.
So close.
Great fight from Lissus, though, at 950 pounds, and that'll give way for Ronald Heinle, as now just two men remain, as Pritchett and Heinle.
That was a great effort. Now watch. Off the floor, gets it to his knees, crosses the knees, does the lean back, but just couldn't get in position to hitch it back.
He needed to pull it a couple more inches to get that hitch. If he could have got it a little bit further, I think he probably could have finished that. The other thing is he's wearing a knee sleeve, and sometimes with that bar, with the deep, sharp knurling, it can get caught up a little bit on stuff like that.
Well, this is a raw bar, and with his foot placement, that knurling would get caught on that.
Yeah.
And that's just enough.
That could be a factor. I mean, you're talking 950 pounds. You get caught up a little bit, you can't pull it.
Okay, Heinle's looked unbelievable so far. He's had great lifts. It's 950 pounds.
And if Heinle can't make this, Jerry Pritchett's your winner.
Yeah, I think Heinle's got this in him. If he gets it off the ground, I think he can finish it.
Whoa, okay.
Well, he didn't get it off the ground. So
they didn't get off the ground. That's a little surprising.
So Heinle bows out, and Jerry Pritchett, no surprise there, as he will pick up his first event win of the competition as he lifts 950 pounds.
He picks up a lot of very, very valuable points, Brian, and getting himself closer to the goal of qualifying for the overall Arnold Classic.
Yeah, Jerry needed that for sure.
Yeah.
With the overall standings, it's important for him to perform in probably his best event.
Yes.
So I'm sure he's going to feel great about that.
So he did what he needed to and what he expected. So I would say that was the result that he was looking for.
Yeah,
so we're here with Brian Shaw, you know, there are myths in the world, and then there are actual legends, breathing, living legends, and definitely Brian Shaw is one of them. So
I appreciate that.
As a Strongman fan and somebody who's watched his career almost the whole time, I'd have to say that getting somewhat of a front row seat to a lot of it's been fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, Brian, we really want to thank you for taking the time to stop by. It's a blast talking to you.
Yeah, absolutely,
best of
guys.
luck in Columbus. Can't wait to see you throw down there, and best of luck with the training moving forward.
I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Jerry Pritchett is your event winner, 950 pounds. 2 more events remain. The Rogue Sandbag Carry is up next at Pacific Park in Santa Monica.
Brother, it's caught in the crossfire. It's caught in the crossfire.